Hi. Yesterday, a 24-year-old engineer who reads WeAreWideAwake.org from Bangalore emailed me this great question. Why does the media houses like CNN, BBC, and even here in India ignore important news such as Mordechai Vanunu? He did what was correct and he has had to pay such a big price for telling the truth. When will his oppression end? Hopefully soon, for Vanunu is due back in court this September seeking release from the draconian restrictions that have held him captive in Israel ever since April 21, 2004, when he emerged from 18 years in a windowless, tomb-sized cell for telling the truth and providing the photographic proof of Israel's weapons of mass destruction facility, the Dimona. But when it comes to anything Israeli, many people fail to speak up against the injustices they have been getting away with because of a sense of misplaced guilt over the Jewish Holocaust, and other people are fearful of being called an anti-Semite, and this happens just for holding Israel accountable to international law and demanding they uphold universal human rights. And because freedom of the press has always belonged to those who own one, the press gets to choose what is news, and their interests often collude with corporations and politicians instead of challenging them. After 6 years in occupied East Jerusalem and another 78 days in solitary confinement, Vanunu relocated to Tel Aviv to be closer to the airport, where he waits for the day to fly to freedom from the restrictions that Israel has inflicted upon him that have denied his inalienable right of freedom of speech and movement. Attorney Yaakov Shapiro, who became Israel's Minister of Justice after World War II, described these restrictions as unparalleled in any civilized country. There were no such laws in Nazi Germany. On September 5th, Vanunu emailed me that his, I quote, "case is over. It became just animal cruelty against me by Israel's very crazy, stupid spies." These spies also lacked imagination and did not foresee muckrakers such as me, very unlike CNN, BBC, ABC, CBS, and all corporate profit media who have ignored Vanunu's freedom of speech trial, but I wrote the book about it. A few days ago, I emailed Vanunu the manuscript of Beyond Nuclear, Mordechai Vanunu's Freedom of Speech Trial, and My Life as a Muckraker, 2005-2010. I asked him to alert me to any need for editing, but Vanunu replied, "Don't wait for my reading, publish it, and move to the next project." So I am, and my very next project leads me to Oregon and California because of another example of the media's failures to accurately report on the event that occurred aboard the Mavi Marmara while it navigated in international waters on May 31, 2010, when 9 unarmed passengers were assassinated and over 40 injured during Israel's illegal military assault upon them in international waters. But a few of the muckrakers with SalemNews.com will be responding by shooting a documentary really inspired by the BBC's Panorama's Death in the Med. Mr. Ken O'Keefe, who was featured briefly in that program, will be, and who was aboard the Mavi Marmara and participated in defending the ship and disarming 2 Israeli commandos, will be touring through Oregon, California this September and October, speaking at various locales, with all the details to be posted very soon at SalemNews.com. I'll meet up with the Salem News crew by September 20 and will be interviewing Ken regarding his childhood and what led this ex-Marine to burn his passport in protest of American imperialism. Ken replaced his U.S. passport with a world passport, and as a citizen of the world, his ultimate allegiance is to the entire human family and planet Earth. Rolling with us will be SalemNews.com's correspondent in Istanbul, Bilin Fernandez, author of Coffee with Hezbollah, a political travelogue that humorously chronicles her hitchhiking trip through Lebanon in the aftermath of the 2006 Israeli assault. I'm honored to be among their company, especially because as I was not even a reporter until after I met Vanunu in June 2005. 3 weeks after that, I established WeAreWideAwake.org and became a muckraker, meaning an activist reporter. After that trip, my next project leads me to Iran. Learn much more about all of that at WeAreWideAwake.org, September 7, 2010, and power to the peaceful.